Hello, welcome to Midlands Today on the day that car giant Jaguar Land Rover confirmed plans to create up to 750 jobs here on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. I'm actually standing in Staffordshire tonight at the I-54 Business Park, very close to the M54 motorway. At the moment, it's a greenfield site, but within 2 years, it'll be the home to a £355 million factory building low-emission engines. Today's news is confirmation of a remarkable turnaround in Jaguar Land Rover's fortunes. Indian firm Tata bought JLR from Ford for £1.5 billion in June 2008, but almost immediately the global financial crisis dramatically hit car sales. Tata then announced plans to close one of JLR's massive West Midlands plants at either Solihull or Castle Bromwich. But the company did a U-turn as sales began to recover, and now it employs 21,000 people in the UK. With our first report tonight, here's our transport correspondent, Peter Plisner. Just a warning of flash photography in his report.
Hello. Morning.
Desperate to announce some good news with the Lib Dem conference just a few miles away, what better place to do it than Land Rover in Solihull? Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg and the Business Secretary Vince Cable here to confirm plans for the new engine plant.
It's such a vote of confidence in the West Midlands, in manufacturing in this country. We in the government have been really pleased to be able to work with Jaguar Land Rover on this.
The government's putting in £10 million, a modest amount, but according to Vince Cable,
it's a demonstration of our commitment to it. We want it to succeed, and of course there are wider public benefits to the region.
So why does Jaguar Land Rover need an engine plant? Well, at the moment, engines like this one going into the new Evoque model are supplied by the Ford Motor Company. With more and more new models in the pipeline, JLR needs its own supply of engines, hence the reason they're investing at I-54.
We've always made it clear that we want to get strategic control of a key component of a car, which is an engine. So for us, it's the next step in the development of our growth strategy.
And part of that growth strategy was on display last week at the Frankfurt Motor Show. In all, JLR unveiled 3 new models, including a replacement for the iconic Defender. It's all good news for JLR workers like Mike Cox. He's been here for 16 years.
It's absolutely superb news for the business. I mean, we were concerned a couple of years ago, but we've never dreamt they would have been getting the kind of news that we have today. The plants and developments, it's absolutely superb for us.
The new plant will be the second factory in the Midlands producing engines for cars. More than a decade ago, BMW set up a similar operation near Coles Hill in Warwickshire. This time it's Wolverhampton and South Staffordshire that stands to gain.
I'm delighted. We've been waiting for this piece of news now for months. And what's really interesting actually is in our area many years ago we started losing jobs to the east, China and other areas. But actually the growth in demand for Jaguar cars is now coming from those markets.
The new engine plant and today's ministerial visit provides yet more evidence of what is a remarkable turnaround from recession. If all goes well, the first engines should be produced within the next 2 years.
Well, Peter's here right now. It's just an empty field at the moment. Can you elaborate on the timetable?
Yeah, well, first they need construction planning approval to build the plant. That should be easy because, of course, this site has been designated an enterprise zone. That means relaxed planning laws. Also, a new junction on the M54 needs to be built to improve access. Now, with a good wind, we should see this plant up and running within 2 years, perhaps mid to late 2013.
And we're talking about, what, 750 jobs at the factory, but there are so many more in the supply chain.
Indeed, there's a formula that suggests that for every 1 job on the production line, 4 or 5 others exist elsewhere or could be created elsewhere. That could mean 3,000 or 4,000 additional jobs. But of course, many firms are now sourcing their parts from abroad, and Jaguar Land Rover have made it quite clear that's what they want to do with some parts, so it may be fewer than that in the long term.
What a turnaround this is, Peter.
It is. Just 2 years ago, they were concerned they may be on the brink of collapse. Now they're riding on the crest of a wave, and sales are being powered ahead by sales in emerging markets like China and India. It's all good news for JLR. You could argue the recession is over.
Peter, thanks very much indeed. Now, although we're very close to Wolverhampton, with the city centre, just 5 miles away, the new factory will actually be in Staffordshire. And that's great news after the north of the county recently lost out on its bid for an enterprise zone to boost business and jobs. But will the area have the highly skilled workers needed by Jaguar Land Rover? Or will the jobs ultimately go to people from other parts of the UK? Our Staffordshire reporter, Liz Copper, has been investigating.
This is an investment that's been welcomed, supported and celebrated. Within months, this vacant business park will be transformed. Lying adjacent to the M54 motorway, it's hoped this plant will boost the county's economy, and the business opportunities will stretch far beyond the boundaries of the site itself.
Even people coming into the area with skilled jobs will hopefully live in Staffordshire, they'll spend in Staffordshire, that'll have a knock-on effect on our retail, on our housing. It's all in all, this is a very, very positive development. It can only be really good news for Staffordshire.
Today's announcement has been greeted with delight in Staffordshire, but there is some concern over whether there could be a skills shortage. Building these engines requires a highly skilled workforce.
We're talking about sort of niche, high-tech manufacturing capability here, and at the end of the day, not everybody can do that. And it's a kind of a real feather in the cap for the heritage that this area has in that sector.
These are marks with a long, prestigious and distinguished history. This investment secures a commitment to ensuring they continue to be made in the Midlands. Liz Copper, BBC Midlands Today, Staffordshire.
With me now is the leader of Staffordshire County Council, Philip Atkins. Good evening to you.
Hi, Nick.
What a big smile you have on your face.
Absolutely fantastic news for Staffordshire, Wolverhampton, the Midlands and the UK. It's really good news.
And it's tribute to so many different organisations and agencies working together.
Yes, there has been. Since March, when we first heard of the interest of JLR in the site, we've been working very closely with Wolverhampton City Council and others to bring this project to its conclusion today, and it really is good news for the area.
Yeah, terrific news, but we do have to ask some sort of questions about the skilled workers. Where are they coming from?
Well, one of the attractions to the area is the skilled workforce that we have here in the West Midlands, the Black Country and across Staffordshire itself.
Yeah, but only recently a survey said that Wolverhampton, I think, had one of the lowest skill bases in the country.
I know, yes, and I know, and there's a role there for the colleges and locally at the Black Country in South Staffordshire to upskill people, and if I was somebody who was looking at the programme tonight, I'd certainly start looking to enrol on any courses there are. The skills are there. We've got JCB, Alstom, Thiessen as examples of the rich engineering culture that we've got in the West Midlands.
I don't want to pour cold water on it. There's a real concern that people aren't bothered about studying engineering anymore.
Oh, well, I think they ought to think about those things. My daughter's a senior engineer, and I'd encourage anybody to take up engineering. It is the way for this economy to get going again. And if we get these jobs, well, we're going to have the 750, and there's going to be thousands more in the supply plate chain
briefly,
up to it.
Are we seeing green shoots?
I think we are. The engine that have been made in this plant drives the motor vehicle, and the motor vehicles that are going to be built from this engine will drive our West Midlands economy. It's really good news.
Philip Atkins, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, JLR's decision came just ahead of a keynote speech by the Business Secretary, Vince Cable, at the Liberal Democrat Party conference in Birmingham. Our political editor, Patrick Burns, is there for us right now. And Patrick, this announcement couldn't have come at a better time for them, could it?
Quite a coincidence, isn't it, Nick? And you know, by another happy accident of timing, the Birmingham and Solihull Chamber of Commerce have been holding a fringe event here at the conference where local industrialists could scarce contain their excitement about today's news.
It gives the people of the Midlands a boost, recognising that the skills are here. We know they're here, but it's when international companies make those sort of decisions, then we are being recognised for the abilities we have in the Midlands, and it's great to see.
Just what the doctor ordered so far as the Business Secretary, Dr. Cable, is concerned. And a short time ago, I asked him just how much of a boost this would be to our region's economy.
I think the commitment of Jaguar Land Rover to build this new engine plant near Wolverhampton is a fantastic shot in the arm for the West Midlands and actually for the British economy, because it's a vote of confidence by one of the leading multinationals that this is a good place to do business.
Given the scale of the unemployment problem that we have in this part of the country, including in Wolverhampton itself, how much of a dent will those 750 jobs make?
No, I think the 750 jobs is just the tip of the iceberg. I think once that plant is up and running, there will be a very large supply chain. I mean, if you look at Jaguar Land Rover's operations in the UK, I think for every one that they have in their main assembly plants, they have 10 as suppliers.
Given, though, the low skills base that we have in parts of the West Midlands, isn't there a danger that this new venture will just suck people in from elsewhere in the country, including from Dagenham and Bridgend in Wales, where they currently make the engines for Jaguars?
There will be movement around the country, but I've little doubt, talking to the trade unionists and also the MPs in that area, that they're absolutely delighted that this will help Wolverhampton, help lift it up. There is a general problem in the UK of skill shortage, particularly highly specialised engineering skills. But, the West Midlands has a long tradition, and through its motor industry, we want to see that revived. And there are a lot of people around here who have the basic skills and want to get back into work.
And you know that for all the slightly synthetic side swipes against their coalition partners that we've seen here over the past few days, economic recovery is the fundamental principle on which the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives are in this together. Nick.
Patrick, thank you. And that's all for now from the I-54 site near Wolverhampton. Much more, of course, on this story on the Midlands Today Facebook page, and I'll be back later on in the programme to get the reaction from Midlands motoring expert Professor David Bailey. But for now, it's back to you, Suzanne, at the mailbox.
Thanks very much, Nick. Well, still ahead here.